I'd like to call to order the regularly scheduled board meeting of the Paris Union School District Number 95 of Education for January 14th, 2019. Let the record show that all members are present. Voting sequence for this meeting will be Tuttle, Bailey, Idle, Isaac, Mathis, Sanchez, and Noble. Do we have any visitors who want to, for audience to visit?
I do have a few things that I would like to say, just to make public note of it. I'd like to say congratulations to Mr. Shea. Mr. Shea and I have been working on adapted PE, and so we were looking at our costs. Our current costs are about $12,000. Next year it's going to cost us roughly about $16,000 because they're changing the way in which they do the formula through our cooperative. Mr. Shea, having that strong background in adapted PE and physical education, we were able to kind of look at it, make some changes, and something we're probably going to be able to do locally and be able to save a little bit of money. And so we're excited that we're able to increase, because what this will allow us to do is provide this service locally rather than having someone drive all the way from Mattoon to do it, and we'll be able to provide it locally. So we actually have Amy Payne, Creighton Tarr, Christina Clark, and Mr. Shea, who are all approved by the Illinois State Board of Education for adapted PE. So I'm really proud of him for going through with that process and really kind of leading the staff through that. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.
You're gonna have to explain what it is.
Adapted PE is PE for special education. So,
Yes.
yeah, for students that have
Special needs.
special needs, yeah. And then also, just a little congratulations to Mr. Shea. I was informed by Jeff Barnes today that we had our first student who registered in our Federal Department of Labor apprenticeship program at the high school. So there are only 2 school districts in the entire state of Illinois that even have a federally approved apprenticeship program. And so Aurora School District is one, Paris High School is the other. Mr. Shea and I drove up to Rockford this year, went through an entire training on it, got approved through the Department of Labor in order to do that. So I just really appreciate that I have someone who really partners with me on different projects, because I enjoy good projects. So thank you, Mr. Shea, for doing that as well. I also want to say thank you to Nancy Zeman and the Prairie Press for a wonderful article in the newspaper, Gold Star School District. Nancy, thank you very much for your support. I very much appreciate that. I want to say thank you to the Board of Education for allowing us to do the Alternative Learning Opportunity Program. It absolutely has done my heart well just to be out there with those kids and see some of the opportunities that we're giving them. I mean, we have students who have dropped out who are now coming back and actually feel like they have an opportunity to graduate. We have students who have children of their own, and so they just really appreciate the flexibility of the schedule and the opportunity to be able to get a high school diploma. And so it feels really good that our school district's able to do that. I have been inviting people to come out and view the program, because I think a lot of times when people hear alternative learning, they get a negative connotation. And I'm telling you, it is one of the most well-managed classrooms that I've seen, and I'm really impressed with that. So I want to thank the Board of Education for allowing us that opportunity. I also want to thank Josh Hollis for stepping out and really leading that program. He's done an amazing job. So, are there any questions about that program?
How many do you have?
17 total. Yeah.
So what are the age ranges?
ISB allows us to drop it all the way down to 4th grade if we wanted to.
But what do you have in class?
Currently, we do 8th grade through 12th grade. So, and then I also just want to say we have safety meetings coming up. We will have a safety meeting, and I didn't put this in our board packet. I'm just letting you know, January 24th. We will do that at 5 o'clock at Memorial Elementary School, and I will make sure to put this in your future memos. We will do it at 6:30 at Carolyn Wentz, and we will do it at 8 o'clock at Mayo Middle School. And it's going to be all the administrators taking an entire evening just to go around and talk to the community and public about school safety and also threat assessment and how we handle those types of situations. And then we're also going to do a follow-up where we say if you have any input or would like to see some enhancements, please come to the district improvement meetings March 20th and April 10th. So it's kind of a great way to recruit, and it's also always a very hot topic is school safety. So, and we'll have a finance committee coming up soon because we will be entering a season of negotiations with our union. So Sorry to take up all that time, Mr. Knopf.
It's all right. We'll move to the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any questions or discussions? If not, please respond. Tuttle.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Idle.
Yes.
Ister.
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Nofel is yes. We'll move to secretary's report.
I have a card here. The family of C. June Heath Barrett Neffenbaugh acknowledges with grateful appreciation the kind expression of your sympathy. Thank you for thinking of our family during this difficult time. Your flowers and kind words are sincerely appreciated.
With that, sorry for your loss, Evelyn.
Thank you.
With that, we'll move to the superintendent's agenda.
Okay, one thing before I start in on policy is I just wanted to talk a little bit about our district finances. I put a sheet in front of you of our district finances. I apologize that I left that out of the memo, but it is here this evening. Just a few things is that we are at the 50% mark of the school year. We are currently at 47% of our expenditures in the ed fund, so we're 3% below. I know that sometimes we just hear a number like 3% below and we think that's okay. That means that we're over $250,000 better off in our ed fund than what we had budgeted. So that makes me pretty proud. And so I'm pretty excited. Our O&M fund is 10% below where it should be. The bonded interest is higher, and the reason why is because bond payments do not come in equal installments, so you pay that primarily up front. Transportation is 7% below. IMRF is right on the mark, 50%, and the tort fund is always high because you pay all your insurance premiums and crossing guard expenses up front. The other thing is we have received all of our local property tax, but we have not received all our state and federal. And so as you look at the top for revenue, all of our revenue is 50% or greater. However, I do want to state that we have not received any transportation categoricals to date. So there have been no transportation categoricals to date. We've received local funding for transportation. We've received no state funding for transportation.
Have they vouchered them?
They have vouchered them and they have not come through. So,
How long ago did they voucher them?
we need to go back and look to give you a date. It's been a while. Okay, the first thing on the agenda tonight is to adopt policy. The policy committee is met to review the quarterly update of the IASB press policies. All policies are being recommended as is from the Illinois Association of School Boards. Last month, the Board of Education conducted the first reading of policy. This evening, I recommend the Board of Education adopt the policy statements. At this time, I ask the Board of Education to adopt the policies.
So made.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve for second reading of the policies. Any question or discussion? If not, please respond. Tuttle.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Idle.
Yes.
Ister.
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Nofel is yes.
Okay, next is executive session, and there will be action afterwards, Nancy, but I can't tell you how long this is gonna take.
That's fine.
I recommend the Board of Education go into executive session for the purposes of student discipline. This session will be used for an expulsion hearing for a student. At this time, I ask the Board of Education to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to go into executive session. Will everybody please respond? Tuttle.
Yes.
Bailey. Idle.
Yes.
Ister.
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Nofel is yes.
Okay. I am going to ask that, we have, I'll give you an update, Nancy, later on.
I'll just stay out here, because you
Okay.
got stuff later, right? Or did you do
No,
your informational
I will
stuff?
withdraw my informational.
Okay.
I am gonna ask that the three principals stay, if that's okay, for the hearing. Is that okay with the Board of Education?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, just wanna make sure.
Grab the signature file.
Yep, I'll grab the signature file. And begin. Notice has been made to the family, the student and rights have been reviewed, a hearing has been conducted, so I provided rights to, I went through all the rights with Ms. even expressing, that you could bring a lawyer this evening. And a hearing has been conducted. It is my recommendation to the Board of Education to expel student, and we do not give public names, so it's 2019-01 for a period of 6 months, and to authorize the superintendent to send a certified letter to the family of that notification, because that's my obligation. At this time, I recommend the expulsion of student 2019-01 for a period of 6 months.
So made.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to expel student 2019-01 for a period of 6 months. Please respond. Tuttle.
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Idle.
Yes.
Isom.
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
Sanchez.
Yes.
No for is yes.
I will coordinate with you guys. I'll reach out.
I appreciate your guys' time. I appreciate you guys at least hearing us out. So,
Good luck.
Thank you. Good luck. Appreciate your interest, because I think it's gonna take somebody.
Yeah.
It's gonna make it.
well, you know who I'm talking about. Obviously, you know I don't accept that behavior. Not at all. I believe you should know who I'm talking about too. And, you know, I don't accept that behavior in any way, shape, or form. So hopefully I will not have to see you guys again. But hopefully this fall we'll be able to retry this again and see what we can do. And I will keep in constant communication with you as much as I possibly can.
Thank you very much.
Good luck. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That ends the superintendent's agenda.
With that, we'll move to report of committees, public hearings and petitions, unfinished business.
I do have one more thing. So I wasn't thinking very clearly. I want to talk about the adapted PE one more time and make sure I'm very clear about that, because this just really tickles me to death. So we spend roughly $12,000 a school year on adapted PE. That is for students with disabilities to receive PE from someone who comes all the way from Acton in order to do that. Okay? Next year, our cost is going to go up to like $16,000. I started talking to Mr. Shea. We started going back and forth, what are different options we could do. And so we went through and got everyone certified. Now, there's a thing called maintenance of effort in special ed. You cannot decrease your special ed funding. So how is this? You can't really save a lot of money on special ed because the state and federal government give you special ed dollars and then they say that you're not spending it the way you're supposed to. So when you save money, you can't really save on special ed, just to be clear. But what that allows us to do, because this is why it really tickles me to death, is instead of spending $12,000 over in Mattoon, we can now turn and look to our own local people and say, how can I spend that $12,000 on you locally? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like Amy Payne, Creighton Tar, Christina Clark, Mr. Shea, who are all certified, rather than shipping $12,000 over to Mattoon, our kids have an educator who is now closer, locally, parents can talk with, receive services on site. You don't have to wait for someone to come. And then the second thing is then it also keeps money locally. So, what we call it a negotiation here. So thank you, Mr. Shea.
More clear.
Thank you.
So, question, those kids were they taken out during PE time? The
Yeah,
19%
yeah, they
taken
could
out
be.
during-
So now there's even opportunity for them to be integrated.
Okay.
So I'm really proud of Mr. Shea for pulling this one out.
Thank you.
It's good because those PE teachers, a lot of times already have a relationship with them.
Sure.
So, and
Right.
the lady from Easy comes maybe once every 2 weeks.
Right.
And so it's hard for her to kind of develop a relationship, so.
So they actually get to
Nothing
participate
bad.
in PE more often.
Well, I mean, it'll be specific, like, because some of these kids are in wheelchairs and stuff like that, so it's, whether they're
Very
working on.
specific motors.
Yeah, motor skills, something of that nature.
I've already notified them. I told them my intentions, and so they said they understand. So,
I understand.
we're not looking to drop out of the co-op. We're just, I'll give you another example. There are some school districts that do not have their own speech pathologist or school psychologist, and so they contract through Easy. Some school districts have their own adapted PE people, some don't, so we now do that. Yeah. So,
Good job.
Very good.
Yeah. Good luck. Keep up. the
shake
good
his
work.
hand on the way out. I'm proud of him. So. All right, I don't have anything else, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I'll go back. Report of committees, public hearings and petitions, unfinished business, matters for follow-up, new business, right to revert to prior order of business, executive session. I have a motion of adjournment.
So many.
We are adjourned.